World Refugee Day, June 20. Kindly note that this is an awareness video only. Viewers are advised to verify the contents before using this information anywhere else. In a world where violence forces thousands of families to flee for their lives each day, the time is now to show that the global public stands with refugees. Families that have been forced to flee make extraordinary efforts to survive. From South Sudan to Uganda, Myanmar to Bangladesh, Syria to Jordan, they have endured long, dangerous and difficult journeys. At a time when there are more and more global crises forcing people from their homes, we are coming together to show our solidarity and to honor their resilience and determination to keep their families safe. Every minute, 20 people leave everything behind to escape war, persecution, or terror. A refugee is someone who fled his or her home and country owing to a well-founded fear of persecution because of his race, religion, nationality, membership in a particular social group, or political opinion. Many refugees are in exile to escape the effects of natural or human-made disasters. Another aspect of this crisis is stateless status, where the persons do not have a recognized nationality and do not belong to any country. Statelessness situations are usually caused by discrimination against certain groups. Their lack of identification, a citizenship certificate, can exclude them from access to important government services, including healthcare, education, or employment. Refugees deserve, as a minimum, the same standards of treatment enjoyed by other foreign nationals in a given country, and in many cases the same treatment as nationals. The 1951 UN Convention on Refugee contains a number of rights and also highlights the obligations of refugees towards their host country. The rights contained in the 1951 Convention include the right not to be expelled except under certain strictly defined conditions, the right not to be punished for illegal entry into the territory of a contracting state, the right to work, the right to housing, the right to education, the right to public relief and assistance, the right to freedom of religion, the right to access the courts, the right to freedom of movement within the territory, the right to be issued identity and travel documents, the right of non-refoulement, which means that the refugee will not be sent back to his home country by force. The world is witnessing the highest levels of displacement on record. An unprecedented 70.8 million people around the world have been forced from home by conflict and persecution at the end of 2018. Among them are nearly 30 million refugees, over half of whom are under the age of 18. There are 25.9 million registered refugees with the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees and 3.9 million stateless people. When we talk about refugees, we can recollect the refugee issues from Venezuela, Central Africa, Central America, Syria, Congo, Burundi, Europe, Iraq, Palestine, Rohingya, Yemen, and Sudan. These are history. The United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees seeks to provide at least a minimum of shelter, food, water, and medical care in the immediate aftermath of any refugee exodus. To receive refugee status, A displaced person must go through a refugee status determination process, which is conducted by the government of the country of asylum or the UNHCR. While away from their homes, refugees want to work. Host country need to commit towards job creation, microfinance, women's economic empowerment, infrastructural services, including health, water, sanitation and hygiene, connectivity and shelter. Refugees face violence, hardships, poverty, and other issues during their exile. Apart from physical wounds or starvation, a large percentage of refugees develop symptoms of post-traumatic stress disorder or depression. These long-term mental problems can severely impede the functionality of the person in everyday situations. It makes matters even worse for displaced persons who are confronted with a new environment and challenging situations. They are also at high risk for suicide. Among other symptoms, post-traumatic stress disorder involves anxiety, over-alertness, sleeplessness, chronic fatigue syndrome, motor difficulties, failing short-term memory, amnesia, nightmares, and sleep paralysis. Flashbacks are characteristic to the disorder. The patient experiences the traumatic event or pieces of it again and again. Refugees are often more susceptible to illness for several reasons, including a lack of immunity to local strains of malaria and other diseases. Displacement of a people can create favorable conditions for disease transmission. Refugee camps are typically heavily populated with poor sanitary conditions. There can be instances of exploitation at the hands of enforcement officials, citizens of the host country, and even United Nations peacekeepers. Instances of human rights violations, child labor, mental and physical trauma, torture, violence-related trauma, and sexual exploitation, especially of children. The experiences children go through during times of armed conflict can impede their ability to learn in an educational setting. Schools experience dropouts of refugee and immigrant students from an array of factors such as rejection by peers, low self-esteem, antisocial behavior, negative perceptions of their academic ability, and lack of support from school staff and parents. There are 3 solutions to the refugee crisis: voluntary repatriation to the home country after conflict settles, resettlement in third country, and integration with the host country are the solutions. As individuals, we must respect human rights of others, raise our voice against any human rights abuses, not to support conflicts in any form. If we come across any such refugee, extend your fullest support to them so that they can lead a decent and peaceful life. If you like this video and want to view more such useful videos, kindly subscribe to my channel.